Welcome back again to a very dirty barbecue. God, I've got to give that a bit of a dust. It's up to temperature. Well, that's good. You needed to know that. Man, that is dirty. Oh well. Come with me. I've had a thought. I had touched on before an alternate idea of how to make the guide for drilling bench dogs. In fact, bench dog holes. So while I was out in the workshop, and I talked about it previously, oh, by the way, nice and clean. It's amazing what some isopropyl can do to your very messy workshop when you've been grinding the living heck out of the steel. Now, a couple of things. 16mm threaded rod has a pitch in metric terms of 2mm. I don't know. I'm just going to suggest that 2mm is a nice round figure. Now I'm just off screen. I'm just turning on my calipers. The pitch of any particular thread should be, actually let me get my glasses, holy moly. But the thread, I know the camera's going all over the place, so I do apologise for that. The thread of any particular pitch should be reasonably accurate to the 2mm. And there it was. I bumped it. Hang on, I just put you down. Bear with us. Oh, that's not where we want you to be. Pointing to the roof. That's not very helpful either. Oh dear. This is one of the downsides. I'll put it this way. I have to suck the stomach in. If I try and get the tips of the tips of the calipers into the grooves, I should get reasonably accurate to the 2mm readings. At that stage I'm getting absolutely not a correct reading of 25.3. Okay, well that's a fly in the ointment because it should be a round figure. Let's zero it out again. But the theory being that between any particular set of threads I should have an even number. Well, I'm not. So that's obviously I'm reading it wrong. Oh, hang on. Oh, pretty good. 24. 23.99. Now that was a little bit of luck, to be fair. Oops. Sorry for that. But it miraculously jumped to 24 while I wasn't looking. Point being that a 16mm rod, and I'll just realign the gimbal. It's one of those cameras. A 16mm rod has a 2mm pitch, meaning that 50 pitches, 50 rotations is 100mm. What is the spacing I want for my guides for the 345 methoding of the bench dog holes? Well, it's 100 mils. Now, I prepared this earlier. I drilled out a 12mm nut because the thread on the guide bushes is 14 millimeters, so the closest nut is 12 millimeters. I drilled it out to 13 so I could put a 14 millimeter. Is it going to focus? It's not focusing. But anyway, you'll have to trust me. It's got a 14 millimeter. Darn focus. It's got a 14 millimeter thread on it. Meaning that, now I'll just prepare this off screen. If I put a guide bush into said nut and then have a 16 millimeter nut, I can somehow, as yet to be determined, fix the 16, point camera in right direction, 16 millimeter nut and the 12 millimeter nut together, meaning I have got a rigid shaft on which I can thread this rod. And if these two are held together, whoops, rolling off, if I can weld these two together or adhere them together, probably using super glue, I've got an adjustable guide. Now that means that the need for a lock nut, as I'm talking about in a previous video, is kind of reduced. You still need it to make sure that the assembly doesn't move, but if, and there's a bit of an if to it, if the accuracy of the thread itself is in the increments, be it 96 mil, not hard to do, or 100 mil, not hard to do, or 50 mil, not, you get the point, don't you? Or 25 millimeter by having a 1/2 turn around, because all you need to do is to reverse the side that the guide bush goes in, so you can do those 1 millimeter increments. So, but you can make up a series of these as your guide bush holders. Threaded rod, the only restriction on this idea is that if you roll it across a table, a flat surface, you don't want to have a, like a out of true, because the accuracy of a thread, the straightness of the shaft itself overall, could mean that you can wind up making an adjustable, customizable 3-4-5 method approach to doing your bench dogs. That is going to be a bit of a pain in the butt to drill them all out, but it didn't take long to do this. I think I made the mistake of trying to drill this out, and I think that might be a hardened nut or a high grade nut. Could be. Or my drill bit is particularly not that sharp. But anyway, I had tried, because I thought that this might slip in there, maybe. But then I thought, oh, hang on. I know I'm bouncing around a bit. If I made an assembly like this, 20 or so of them, I could then put them on a rod and make all those guides line up on the increment using a caliper to make certain that they're accurate. It is dependent, I'll accept, it is dependent upon the quality of the thread that you purchase, but it's pretty darn accurate, and it has those 2 millimeter increments. If you go any other size, if you would have to go down to 6 millimeter, well, you don't have to do anything, but this means that one rotation is one half rotation is 1 mil, one full rotation is 2. A 6 mil shaft has a 1mm fidelity, or the pitch, but the 6mm is a lot less robust and therefore less likely to be held straight than a 16mm threaded rod. I like that idea a heck of a lot because it's customizable, and where you may want your 100 or your 96 or your 20 or your 25 or your whatever, a little bit of work, those relatively cheap and readily available components should allow you, just taking the threaded guide off, should allow you to make them work for you. So that's the assembly I'm talking about. Thread out that. Don't have to worry about using a lock nut there, but it would be wise. The threaded rod is your inbuilt accuracy, your inbuilt tolerance, and yeah, there you go. That has got to be a good idea. Well, so too was the other idea of me claiming great things by using those steel bars, and that was kind of like it really annoyed me that I didn't. My theory and my practice wasn't the same, and that is actually one of my themes for my channel and different areas I talk about. It was a quote by Einstein, I think. Einstein. Anyway, the theory put into practice has to be the same to be robust. If it's not, yeah, well, it's called reality. But this one, dependent, okay, I'm repeating myself, dependent upon the accuracy of that, machining of that, plus a series of those glued together, might be a good idea. Might be. I'm going to be chasing that one up, I can assure you. So, that's a short video. I said once before about, I think this is a good idea, and it may have been. I think this is a brilliant idea because it's customizable. You're literally not cast in steel, where you can adjust the darn things as your need comes apparent. So, yeah, going to be chasing that down. I'll drill out a whole series of those. Well, no, actually, no. I'll back that up. I'll try and see how well I can glue adhere those together. I don't want to weld it. That's the thing. Well, sorry, I'm zoomed out. I don't want to weld it, but super gluing it may work. Tell you what, I'll get back to you, shall I? Okay, with that, I'm going to go check my barbecue again. Let's put a steak on. How's that for an idea? Friday night? Yippee. Okay. Out in the sun. It's a bit breezy. That's okay. Yeah, lovely evening. Right, see you later. Bye now.